All right, let's get started with creating our very first PHP package using Composer. So as I told you, Composer allows us to distribute and download reusable packages. So what we want to do is we want to create a package that will also be discoverable through Composer. We'll cover the whole publishing thing later on, but to get started and to be able to include our package in other projects that also use Composer, we need a Composer JSON file in our package. So the package that we are going to build is just a really silly one, and well, let me just create a new directory and then I think you'll get the idea of what we're going to do. All right, so I want a package that creates Chuck Norris jokes, that just randomly returns one Chuck Norris joke. So if we now go to this new directory, this is just an empty directory, and inside of this directory I want to build the package that will then later be used through all the projects that want Chuck Norris jokes. All right, so to get started, we can use Composer to initialize a new package inside of this directory. So we have the composer init command, and the first thing that this walkthrough of the generator asks us is the package name. And as you can see, the package name is split up in two parts. So one is the vendor, which is either the person or the company or organization that creates and maintains this specific package. And the second part is the actual package name. So about the vendor name, you should, if you plan on publishing your package, for example, on GitHub, you should try to use your GitHub username as the vendor name. It's just a specification that most people comply to, and it just makes it a lot easier to discover the GitHub repository based on the package name. So for example, this is one package that I created using the Beyond Code vendor namespace, which is my company. And if I take a look at the Composer JSON file, we can see that the name of this package is Beyond Code as the vendor, and then Laravel WebSockets is the package name. Now I also have some private packages that I haven't created for our company, which are under the Empoziot username, which is just my private GitHub user. And if we take a look in here, then we can see that this name is Empoziot, which is my GitHub username, and then Laravel API doc generator. Okay, so for Chuck Norris, we're going to use Empoziot, and then the package name. You should try to come up with a package name that is just clearly explains what your specific package is doing for you. I personally created some packages that had just fancy names for things where people didn't actually know what they were doing. Those are the first packages that I created. Don't do this, to be honest. Just make the name very explicit so that everyone can easily find your package and makes it just way easier to discover it. And people just know straight away what they can expect from your package. So I think we can just stick with Chuck Norris jokes. Next, we can enter a description. This description will be used for packages when people browse your package and search for it. So create random Chuck Norris jokes. All right. Then we have the author of this package. So for me, this is my name and my personal email address. That's fine. Then we have the minimum stability. This means that if we take a look at the Composer JSON schema, it defines the default behavior for filtering packages by stability. So if you use different packages, this defines the minimum stability that you allow for these packages. The default is stable, and I would just stick with stable for this. If you rely on a development package, you should define this otherwise, but relying on development packages is in general maybe not the best idea. So we'll just leave it empty. Now the package type, you do not need to enter this, it's not required, but in our case it's a library. Next, the license. I'm just going to use MIT here, but I have a separate video which just takes care of picking the right license for your specific package. Next, we can define dependencies. So if we build a package that depends on other packages, then we can add them here. So right now I don't want to include any other dependencies, so we just say no. And then we have def dependencies. Those dependencies are only loaded while developing your packages. So for example, PHP unit for automated testing would be a def dependency, because PHP unit is only required when you want to test your package in development mode and not when you distribute your package to other people. But I also don't want to define the def dependencies just yet. So no. And then we see what will be written to our composer.json file. So we have the name with our vendor name and the package name. We have the description, the type is library, the MIT license, and an array of authors, and there's my name in it, and we do not require any packages just now. All right, confirm the generation, and now we have this composer.json file in here, and if we take a look at it, this is the content. All right, so this is the first step of actually creating your own package. There are a lot of other things that you can add to your composer.json file. We will cover them step by step, but now that we have our own composer.json file in place, let's start in the next video by creating a project and then including our specific package so that we can use it and start developing it.